WHGE 95.3 FM. Coming up, the open eye.
Those of us that know it were committed to pleasure of imagination. Change the impression of deep and difficult to
Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm your host, Patrice Gibbs, your third eye optometrist, here to get those eyes open. Yes, indeed. Yeah, we got a lot for you today. I'm going to get it started. You know, I don't like to waste no time. Wait a minute, I got some announcements here. What do we got? Well, okay. Okay, those are old. Let me get to this new stuff. First of all, I got to tell you, my friend and associate, Teresa Sharp, is sponsoring and holding a Feed the Homeless event today. That's today, Saturday, October 24th. Location, 3rd Street Bridge Park, right here in Wilmington, Delaware. All food will be pre-packaged. That's today at noon. Face masks will be available and must be worn. If you don't have one, go on down there anyway, because knowing Teresa, she's prepared for you. She's going to give you a face mask. They are adhering to safety measures and, social distancing and what have you. All right. We got it going on right here in Wilmington. We sure do. That's where people helping people here. Watching what some people do, some people ask, how smart are you? Well, smart men don't tell you how smart they are. Rich men don't tell you how rich they are. Tough men don't tell you how tough they are. That's one you need to learn. Because when somebody tells you, I can show you better than I can tell you, watch your ass. Honest men don't have to tell you how honest men they are. This is stuff con men do. Anybody sound like anybody you might know? Like the orange disaster? Yes, indeed. Who's up? My coworker Bessie. Yes, we are Facebook Live. Hey, good morning, Bessie. Thanks for joining us. Oh, let's see who else we got here. I'll take a quick look around here. Yes, indeed. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, Brother Vaughn, good morning. And Rochelle. And I hope y'all can hear me clear. Rochelle says she can't hear me too clear with this mask on. Maybe I need to switch masks or something. I don't know. But I hope you can hear me. At any rate, like I said, this is the Open Eye, Patrice Gibbs. The Open Eye is brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, changing veterans' lives all over Delaware. Give me a second here. Delaware Center for Homeless Vets is our sponsor. All right.
Then you express an open eye are those of the host, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM or our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eyes hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, community, or individual.
Like I said, Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, changing veterans' lives all over Delaware. You know, I'd like to share a history with you. You know, yes, all right. Thank you, Bessie. You can hear me. I'm glad to hear that. All right. Like I said, I'd like to share history with you. One, because it's inspiring. Two, because we need to know the truth. Three, those of us that don't learn from our history are bound to repeat the failures of the past. Now, this is inspiring. Clara Bell Drisdale Williams. What a woman. Clara, remember that name, Clara Bell Drisdale Williams. She was the first African-American graduate of New Mexico State University. Many of her professors would not allow her inside the classroom. I pause there to let that sink in. She had to take notes from the hallway. She was also not allowed to walk with her class to get her diploma. Now, this is what you call perseverance, resilience, and determination. Clara Bell Drisdale. She was not allowed to walk with her class to get her diploma, but she got it. She married Jasper Williams in 1917. Their three sons became physicians. She became a great teacher of Black students by day, and by night, she taught their parents, former slaves, taught them home economics. In 1961, probably way overdue, New Mexico State University named a street on its campus after Williams. In 2005, the building of the English department was renamed Clara Bell Williams Hall. In 1980, Williams was awarded an honorary doctorate of laws degree by New Mexico State University, which also apologized for the treatment she was subjected to as a student. She died at 108 years old in 1993. One hell of a woman. And you wonder why some of us feel the way we do. Remember when we were in school and we had to pledge allegiance to the flag? Yeah. I knew pledge for you. I pledge defiance to this flag of the criminal thugs of America and to the mentality for which it stands. One gang without morals, unaccountable with slavery and corruption for all. It's from brothers talking to a friend of his who happened to be white. And he told him that as a Black person, we often enter situations distrusted and have to do so much more and have to do so much more than the next person to establish trust, simply because of the color of our skin. This is how we live. This is what we go through. Okay? He replied, the white guy, he said, do you know why a lot of non-Blacks are hesitant around Black people? Because if they were you, they would have burnt this nation down by now. And they don't know if today is the day you'll decide to do it. kind of left his features with that year. Yeah, I don't know if the day is going to be the day. Just don't know. Big ups to Newcastle County. That's just report from another station. I'm not going to tell you who stole it right off of them. I don't care. Yeah. Newcastle County wants to use CARE Act funds to purchase the Sheridan Hotel near Newcastle and turn it into an emergency homeless shelter. The 192-room Sheraton Wilmington South Hotel, visible from I-95 on Airport Road, is up for sheriff's sale. Bidding on the outline auction starts today and ends Wednesday, October 28th. It began yesterday. The price starts at $5.5 million, less than the cost of the 6.4 million renovation the hotel recently underwent, according to the online auction listing. County Council is slated to discuss the initiative at its community service meeting and vote on the usage of an undetermined amount of COVID funds to purchase the hotel at its virtual meeting Tuesday, October 27th. It's unclear what price the county might be willing to pay for the property located at 365 Airport Road, an area prone to flooding. Newcastle County received $322.8 million in CARES Act funding. The hotel will be paid for from the county's COVID reserve allocation fund, which stands at $192 million, according to the ordinance. We must look everywhere to keep our most vulnerable population safe and protected from the virus without this crisis. This is part of that effort. What's up? My man Nsoromma in the building. Yeah. And we must look everywhere to keep our most vulnerable population safe. The Department of Community Services has had to relocate hundreds of people experiencing homeless due to the pandemic into motels and hotel rooms. The Newcastle County Executives CARE Act Task Force Committee assists the most vulnerable, recognize the lack of shelter options for those experiencing homelessness, and the need for reliable sources of emergency shelter and temporary housing to shelter in place, quarantine, isolate, and recuperate from COVID-19 infections, and further to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the general public by limiting the spread of the coronavirus, and recommended acquiring and converting hotels or motel for such housing needs. All right, and I have to give big ups to Newcastle County for making that effort. All right. And well, what might be on there, brother? Nsoromma in the building. All right. Good morning, brother.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. See?
All right.
True. What's good, homie?
This, that, and the other.
I heard you coming in. I heard you.
Yes, I got a little quote here from Dr. John Henry Clark. It's about self-preservation. We must be selfish for survival, and we must not be ashamed to say we want more for our people. No shame in that. Every other group does so. We better learn that. Now, for those that we got some people out here. Voting is useless. It ain't no use of voting. And
Right.
It don't mean nothing. And when the electoral college makes the decision and what have you, and who's it's just also a waste of time. Let me tell you something. If it was such a waste of time, they wouldn't try to stop you from doing it. Okay. They have, from the time of Reconstruction after the Civil War, trying to stop us from voting. It's the last thing in the world that they want. They do not want us voting. Not at all.
To come all this way from all the things that our ancestors before us been through to get to this point, to bring it all the way back to zero, that's like a smack in the face.
Really? Big time. Big time. What's on your shirt there, bro?
Don't let your president get you. Well, you know what I'm saying? So,
Don't let your president get it. I heard that.
so it's a,
I heard
and that's
that.
what's going on. The people in America think they can follow behind this guy
Mm-hmm.
that's trying to come and change,
Mm-hmm.
all this hard work that's been put in place for, all equality,
Mm-hmm.
and voting at this point right now,
Mm-hmm.
you voting for your rights.
And your survival.
Right.
And the survival of the country,
Of
actually.
course, because once listen, it's messy, man.
Oh.
We got to come together, put our vote in, get this guy out of there, and we don't know what we're getting, but we already know what we got, so we don't want that no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, hey, man.
Yep, that's word. And that was a good way to put it, brother. We don't know what we get, but we know what we got.
Right.
And you know what? Look, got this report here. Tennessee poll worker fired after turning away voters in Black Lives Matter shirts and masks. A Shelby, Tennessee poll worker was fired Friday after election officials learned he had turned away many voters who were wearing masks and t-shirts that said Black Lives Matter. What he did was patently wrong, and he was fired.
I think that's a charge. That's tampering with evidence.
It's tampering with somebody's voting rights.
Right. I mean, you're going. That's breaking the law. Period.
Big time.
And what you see, nothing happens to them.
Right. Now, the state law prohibits people from wearing items with the name of a political party or candidate that's currently on the ballot while in the polling place. But statements like Black Lives Matter, I can't believe, are not violations of the law. If people can roll up with the damn Confederate flag on their hat, shirt, and this, that, and the other, and what have you, why can't somebody roll up with Black Lives Matter on their hat or t-shirt? That's just, because, of course, I saw this woman.
That's part of the rights they trying to snatch away from.
Right.
If you
right
let them
free
do that, right. Our right to free speech, our right to live on this planet freely. It's a planet that we're on.
Mm-hmm. I saw this woman in I don't know what's no, she was in the bank.
Right.
She was in Wells Fargo Bank. And one of the bank workers had on a face mask, and it said Black Lives Matter on his face mask. Okay. Now, in the bank, they do not allow filming. You can't make a video in the bank. Okay. And that's understandable, security issues and what have you. And well, you shouldn't be able to do that because, like I said, security issues and what have you. This woman who gets in her mind that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization, they're black identity extremists, wanted the bank worker to take the mask off. And that wasn't happening. She had no right to come in and say that. She ain't no official in the bank and this, that, and the other. And, well, you should have seen this crazy husband. What they call them, Karens? I still call them Becky's.
And I call them terrorists.
I heard that.
Because they can call the police and then your life can be ended.
That's right.
On some stuff that didn't have nothing to do with nothing. You and then it's crazy.
Because they weaponized the police.
Right.
And they eventually had to run her ass up out of the bank because she was just determined that she was going to make a big issue of this. And the only time that people feel threatened by something like Black Lives Matter or black people going for their rights is if they just racist white supremacists who are afraid of dealing with us on an even keel. And that's basically what it boils down to.
I don't understand how you worried about Black Lives Matter so much, and you had the KKK organization that's been around for generations and is known to be killing people at will, all kind of people, not only black but black mainly, but they kill any kind of people that's not up their
ideology.
Yeah, of course, you know what I'm saying. So when you're looking at Black Lives Matter, to just let you know, back up, get up over focus. We don't no longer participate. You feel what I'm saying? And we about to respond. Leave us alone before you bring war upon yourself.
That's right.
And now it's a problem with that. But you've been worn out with black people in America for ages.
Good. Did you watch the last debate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, all of this is a sham. They both on the same coin, man.
Yeah, you absolutely right about that.
So,
Well, of course, you know,
the better evil.
yeah, the lesser
If
two
it's-
evil. You know, I had mentioned to someone that I thought that Trump did, the oranges actually did kind of hit uh, Biden upside the head when he brought on mass incarceration. It kind of left him, you know, kind of stuck on his feet for a minute there.
Because but Biden did do some stuff. And,
Yeah,
you know,
he was the author of the bill.
because back then he was the head in charge,
Right.
and he had to play his position.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about that.
Yeah, because he was the one, like I said, he was the author of the bill, you know, and he even was proud of it and called it the Biden bill. Now, in the debate, he said, oh, it was a mistake. Okay, all right, okay. Now, here was a crazy thing.
I don't see him going back and retracting the bill, trying to get it out of office,
you know,
trying to put that same problem that he put in place out. So for him just to say, "Oh, I'm sorry,"
Yeah,
that ain't nothing to me. That's why I don't respect that.
And what's that? What's that? I'm sorry. That means nothing to me, bro. You know what I always say about apologies. You slapped me in my face and then apologize. My face still stinks. I don't accept your apology. You know. Now Trump made the false claim that nobody has ever done more for the black community than he has. Now Biden did have a great comeback on him when he stated that no one's less racist than he is. And Biden said, "Oh, Abraham Lincoln over here." That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah. You know, that's what, you know, he said that, you know, no one has done more for black community than he has. Well, the records of Lincoln and Johnson, among others, would beg to differ. You know, among presidents, the most significant legislation achievement arguably belongs to Lyndon B. Johnson, who spearheaded the passage of the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, and the Fair Housing Act. You know, though, you know, he couldn't compare himself to him. That's word. If anything, you know, I mean, comparing himself to other presidents, and not only to mention abolitionists, civil rights leaders, experts, his claim was profoundly false. It wasn't just false, it was profoundly false.
I mean, this guy has lied to America, man. Mm-hmm. Like 30,000 times since he's been in office.
Jeez,
that's a lot, man.
That's a lot. Every time. How do you know he's lying?
Right. I mean, every fourth thing he says is a lie.
Yeah.
So and he only say 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? This guy is serious, man.
You know, now one of the things he touted was, you know, his support of HBCUs. You know, historically black colleges and universities.
Right.
You know, you don't
and put all white teachers in there, but it's okay.
You know, and I'm telling you about Howard too. Shouldn't I say this? Now, federal funding for HBCUs has increased under Mr. Trump, but the program predates his presidency by decades, and funding is appropriated by Congress. So Congress holds the purse strings. You know, he might have asked them, well, give them a little bit more money. You know, but like you were saying, the problem that we're having with HBCUs is that they're being infiltrated. That's
right. It's they being infiltrated. Yeah. Listen, we dealing with a military. Mm-hmm. The government is a military. Mm-hmm. You understand? Politicians, all of them have control to military arms. They can extend their arms, so they have military tactics. Mm-hmm. When we're out here and we're just regular old citizens, just hoping and praying that the Pope could help us, or Jesus, or somebody, and that never really come in existence for the fact that you have to do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have to believe in yourself to make it happen. Mm-hmm. Now you have to enforce. God's not going to give you nothing without trying to get it.
Right. Faith without works.
Right. You're not going to get anything without going after what it is that you want to get within the spirit of the prayer of what you want. Mm-hmm. So, in saying that, yeah, we can pray and all of that and wish for the stars and all, boom. But if we ain't got the military tactic that we need to do to put in place what we need to put in place, we're going to be still stuck.
That's why I advise people to read Sun Tzu's Art of War, so that you understand the tactics of war. Infiltrating our education is one of the major tactics that is used to subjugate a people. Now, I brought up Howard University. The history teacher in Howard University is a white man, a white professor teaching history at a historically black university.
I mean, I don't look at it like that. I look at it like, okay, anybody can get the history. Don't get it wrong. Anybody can get a more or a better understanding out of certain things than another person, because that's just the way the brain works. Because you're only dealing with the brain at that point, because they trying to, it's getting information accumulated. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I don't look at it like the professor don't really know what he's talking about.
It's not a matter if he don't know what he's talking about.
It's the matter that he's white talking about it.
No, and it's not even that. Because I know some white history teachers that will teach the truth.
Right.
Here's the problem with this white history teacher at Howard University.
Okay.
He said that any student that quotes the great historian, Pan-Africanist, and teacher, Dr. John Henry Clark, will get a failing grade. Any student that quotes Dr. John Henry Clark, this is what this white teacher has declared.
Right.
So evidently, Dr. John Henry Clark, who has brought many of us to the truth of our history, evidently this white teacher is teaching something that is adverse to what Dr. John Henry Clark is teaching. Therefore, he's not teaching our students the truth. And anybody that comes with the truth, as espoused by the great historian, Dr. John Henry Clark, is getting a failing grade. That man needs to go. They need to get his ass out of there with the quickness. How can you disrespect one of the greatest historians, not black or white, but period?
No,
Dr. John Henry
that's
Clark.
it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's the military sabotage.
Exactly. Dr. John Henry Clark correctly said, when he was asked to debate other historians,
right?
Dr. Clark said, I only debate my equals, all others I teach. Now that might sound arrogant, but that's the reality of the level of his knowledge of history. And how dare this white supremacist, see how University need to check yourself. How dare this white supremacist and at a black college, at a black historical black university, declare that the teachings
put the best teacher down.
Yeah. Put the greatest scholar down that we've known as a black community. Get him the hell out of there.
Yo, man, that's it, man. That is the bamboozle.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
The bamboozle is what they call the Kansas City Shuffle. You know what I'm saying? So if you understand,
the Kansas City Shuffle.
Oh yeah, the Kansas City Shuffle, that'll hurt you. The Kansas City Shuffle, and that's what they be doing to us, and we not awake to all of the schemes that is in front of your face, and that's just period. If you out and you got a business and you selling CDs or whatever, and somebody come up and try to manipulate you or bamboozle you or scheme you out of the $3 you want, they want to give you 50 cents or $1, and you need the $3, you're not gonna go for it.
No,
because you know better. If I didn't know, and I was working for you, and I came in and you ain't tell me the price of it, and I said, "Oh, he usually charge me 50 cents," and you'll go okay because you ain't know, and you bamboozled.
That's right.
So if you don't know, you can easily be bamboozled.
Yep.
So it's all about getting the knowledge from the open eye radio.
I'm telling you, brother.
How I took it over.
Yes. Great way to segue, brother. Big us, brother. Give me something like that. Big us, brother. WHGE 95.3 FM. Dove and I. That's pretty good. How you like that? And thank you for tuning in.
What's good, y'all? Hey, yo, be safe.
There go my girl Sherry.
Yo, what's good? Hey, yo, thanks for tuning in. Hey, yo, we trying to drop lines on all y'all. Big up, Snap.
Big ups over there, y'all. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jeez Louise. That's fun all day. Bye, Patrice Gibbs. Yes, indeed. You can hear that on a recent CD, can't you?
Oh, most definitely, right?
Yeah. What's the name of that CD?
BM 750, yeah.
750. Yeah. I was
Nsoromma.
Nsoromma. I'm a guest on there. You can hear it on there.
That's right, feature.
Yes, indeed. Feature guest on there. Thank you, Nsoromma.
True.
Yes, indeed. Last week, I didn't get to something that I meant to get to.
Right.
Right now, the orange disaster, and correctly so, is considered the worst president in the history of America.
Yeah. I can feel it.
Most corrupt.
I can feel it. It ain't a guess to me because I'm a black person.
I heard that. Know it to be so.
Right. I feel it. I feel how he changed like the attitudes of the races that were hidden before because it was like it was a shameful thing. Now it's not a shameful thing anymore. Being racist is proud.
Yeah.
And that's what he did to it. He ain't got to hide the racism. Be proud about it.
Yeah.
And that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? So
it's not.
Well,
yeah, big time.
You know what I'm saying?
Big time. But I'm gonna tell you something about where that first came about. One of the first presidents to do that in an effective way was Ronald Reagan. Now he did dog whistle stuff. He wasn't out with it, just like dog bowed up in the face with it, like the orange disaster is,
right?
But he made it all right for people to perform what they call microaggressions in racism. Saying these little slick stuff. They're welfare queens, and people are getting something for nothing, and they was talking about us.
But it kills me. They're getting something for nothing. We're paying their tax. We're the ones that's working for them to even get this government popping, and we're getting something for nothing. Everyone is participating. Hey,
now there was a time in America, if you work 40 hours a week, and I said this last week, and this is a segue into what I'm going to go into. 52 weeks a year, your wife did not need to work, and you retired at age 60 with a pension. Today, 40 hours a week is barely enough to pay for rent and utilities. Your wife also needs to work just so y'all can eat. This is the reality for over 20 million Americans. What happened? How did this change? Now, I'm going to tell you something. Ronald Reagan, like I said, the orange disaster, Donald J. Trump, I rarely say his name. He is and will go down in history as the worst president ever. But Ronald Reagan will go down in history as the president that did the most damage to America. Ronald Reagan definitely made America worse off. And the effects of the things that Ronald Reagan did are being felt. He was president in 1980, 80, 90, 2000, 2010, 2000. 40 years later, here we are, 40. Yeah, I had to count on my fingers, y'all. I ain't shame. 40 years later, and the effects that Ronald Reagan did are still being felt. Because that's where working 40 hours a week is barely enough to pay for rent and utilities. That can trace directly back to Ronald Reagan. May he burn in hell, and may the devil sodomize him with the business end of a pitchfork. I rarely mention his name without saying that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Misuse. Okay.
Yeah. And in the mid-20th century, America was seen as the greatest country in the world. It had the biggest economic boom and broadest shared prosperity ever seen in the history of mankind. I don't know about that.
Right.
I don't know about that. Now, I'm going to tell you why later. Okay? America has big dreams of ending poverty, exploring outer space, cleaning up over a century's worth of pollution, and making amends for the brutal legacy of slavery and genocide against Black people and Native Americans. Now America has devolved into a mean, petty, penny-pinching, do-nothing nation. When manufacturing and coal mining jobs began to decline, we could have mobilized a massive effort to prepare for the new economy. Instead, we chose a sick, twisted, socialized, risk privatized profit model that forces American workers to bear the brunt of the risk in our ever-shifting economy, which the top 1% gets all the benefits.
Yeah.
See, this is capitalism on steroids.
Right.
And what capitalism requires
Mm-hmm.
is that there is a class of people that are exploited in order for the top class to prosper.
Right.
And that class of people primarily exploited are Black people.
And this is going on all around the world. And
Oh,
we're like at the lowest at the totem pole, as in the economy. You know what I'm saying? But yet we spend the most money in the economy. You know what I'm saying? We spend like billions compared to other races. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, once we realize
we got $1 trillion spending level.
once we realize that we don't need to participate with them, you know, you want to be independent, and they call it sovereign. We want to be sovereign. You owe us money, give us our money so we can handle our business. We don't need you to constantly be the overseer of our trusts. You know, we want our own property, we want our own businesses, we want our own.
Yeah, and
right?
we have to make it happen.
Right.
We
I
have
mean,
to
it's
make
an
it happen.
individual process, and each individual has to come together to make it a bigger,
Right.
program.
Because it's something like the saying goes. The old African saying, it takes a village to raise a child.
Sure.
It takes a village to build the community. And that's what we need to do.
Right.
Now, since Reagan was elected, America's been moving backwards. And now America is well on the way to becoming a stereotypical third world hellhole. By the mid-1980s, sidewalks of cities across America were jam-packed with homeless people, thanks to budget cuts to mental hospitals, Reagan. Most of our incomes have stagnated or gotten lower over the past 3 decades in terms of purchasing power, Reagan. Corporations only see themselves as responsible to their shareholders and no longer care about or get held accountable to their employees, their communities, or even their customers, who they screw whenever they can get away with it, Reagan. Our roads, bridges, public transportation system are falling apart, but Republicans and many Democrats keep insisting we have no money to fix them or build anything else. And that's the biggest crock in the world. Because when the corona pandemic came along, they had trillions of dollars to give to corporations. Yet our transportation system is archaic and third world.
You said it earlier when I was coming in and I was listening to you on my way in. You was like, yo, how, you was like, no, a rich person ain't gonna tell you how much money they got.
Right.
And a bad person that beat you down ain't gonna tell you that they'll beat you down.
No.
I mean, that goes for America.
That
America
goes
got mad money. But they ain't gonna tell you we got mad money.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta understand that applies everywhere. I mean, we talking about information. We giving you information and skills that you gotta connect the dots. You know what I'm saying? And take it in as you, the listener. You gotta really understand and feed and put it together. It's a puzzle. You know what I'm saying? We only giving you pieces of it, so you gotta put it all together. When it comes together, you could see it.
And Detroit In Flint, citizens no longer have access to clean drinking water. And that's thanks to the cruel, penny-pinching, pound-foolish decisions of their own state government. Can you imagine when,
He got a phone call from the orange disaster said, "Don't give him nothing."
Don't give them nothing.
Period.
You know?
It's nothing
Yeah.
to that. He got a
But
phone
this was
call.
actually before the orange disaster.
Well, he
That
ain't
was
the only
going
one
on by.
disaster. You had a blue disaster. You
Yeah.
had a
Yeah.
green disaster.
Yeah.
They was disasters that was in president since Reagan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You got that right.
So
Bar none, y'all.
all
Bar
of them was
none.
a disaster, but they was different colors.
Yeah,
Conservatives
yeah,
hadn't
them
had
got
an orange
disaster,
disaster,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. You know, now, how many times have you seen third world countries who didn't have drinking water, and you know the world went there, the Red Cross and what do you call it? What is that? I can't think of the name of it, but you know these different World Health Organizations and what have you will go to that country and bring clean water. I seen Jay-Z send $1 million worth of water to village in Ghana and this, that, and the other, and dig wells and what have you. Right here in America, in the black community, in the majority black cities, they do not have clean drinking water. And it's not just black people that's being affected by that, mind you.
Right, because it's all color people that's living in the city.
Poor white people biting the dust on that too.
Yeah, I mean, they had this little kit that you take and take water from your faucet and and you take and send it in, and then the state is send back
whether it's clean or not, whether it's safe
the results. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it said do not under any circumstance drink this water.
It's poison.
It's poison.
That's
and that's from the faucet.
Right.
That
Did
we
you ever
take
see the
showers
movie?
in, that we wash up, that we cook in, that we
And
doing
getting
all
lead
this
poisoning
like,
and your skin breaking out and
and
all
you
that.
wonder why when you get a certain age, you getting cancer and you don't know where it's from because you healthy, you don't smoke, and you don't do drink, you don't do no bodily harm things. It'd be that type of
environmental discrimination.
And we should be compensated, and it should be free health for city residents. Just like that. For the simple fact that they are doing most of those things to your body that happens that you don't know, that's unknown. Through the chemicals.
Yep. That's a fact, Jack. You know? Civil rights for blacks, women, Native Americans, and just about anyone who isn't a white Christian male are being rolled back. Reagan. We allow our police to terrorize black neighborhoods and trap black youth in a school to prison pipeline that shuts them out of their communities and the economy. Reagan. We reinstated slavery through the 13th Amendment, which allows forced prison labor. We now have U.S. prisoners assembling products for household name corporations for as little as 25 cents an hour, but they get out of jail and they can't get a job with these skills that they learned in prison for these corporations, and they can't get a job with these same corporations that use them as slave labor. Think about that. Okay? Now, you look at our community and say, oh, it's dysfunctional. Okay? The poverty in our community is not by happenstance. This is on purpose. This is on purpose.
That's a shame.
Now, you have any population, all right? You have any population where the people are held in bondage, basically, and oppression 500 years. And then you look at those people and say, why they don't act right? Are you crazy?
I mean, I don't only look at that. I look at the fact that it's other races and other nationalities that's out there that's letting it go on too. That's going, turning their backs on us, basically. You see what I'm saying? And then still want us to support them and come in their stores and stuff like that. And that's what has me like upset, for the simple fact that we don't recognize that it ain't nobody out there that's on our side.
Mhm.
And that's why they feeling okay about doing what they doing, because this guy ain't say, yo, why you doing that? And that girl ain't say, why you doing that? And making them feel shame for what they doing.
Mhm.
And they just turning their back. So, I mean, when you got people that don't care about you, and
Yo,
that's just the way it is, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Well, they deserve it. No, nobody deserve that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, you know, Dr. Clark said, if you're looking for a friend, look in the mirror. If that face in the mirror ain't friendly, you ain't got no friends. Because beyond us, we ain't got no friends. Like you said, they look for us to support our causes. But when their causes, right? They look to us to support their causes.
Right.
Thank you. But when it comes time to support our causes, can't nobody be found.
crickets.
Right.
And I'm like, Ice Cube.
Mm.
The thing with Ice Cube,
Mm.
you gotta understand this. I can talk to Joe Biden, who ain't the president
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
He has no say in nothing. He's just trying to run right now.
Right.
Okay, so if I can go talk to the man right now, that's the
Mhm.
man,
Mm-hmm.
and he can do something before he get out of position,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
That benefits our people. I don't care what nobody think about me going to see him, because he's the one that can make the decision right now.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I care about who thinks I'm going to see this president and that he will sell out? No,
Mm-hmm.
this is the decision maker,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can see my ideology and he can make something happen right now, of course I would participate with him, letting him do this, because he's making it happen.
Mm-hmm. You know, now, and I feel where you're coming from. You know, the thing is, they reached out to Ice Cube, and Ice Cube was acceptable to talking to them, and I don't have a problem with that, because Ice Cube put it out there to both of them, and Biden's people said, "We'll talk to you after the election." Okay, you know what? That's like,
And there it is again.
you know,
You see it
look,
again.
you buy a car, or you're looking to buy a car. And the car dealer says, well, go ahead and give me the money and I'll show you the car after you sign right here. You gonna do that?
I mean,
you that dumb? Who the hell are you kidding?
No, you gotta say it definitely.
Well, you know, that's word. So
And that's what I'm saying. That's what these politicians do. They if it ain't helping them right now,
mm-hmm.
I will get back to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How are you gonna get back to me when this should be what part of what you're talking about right now to get some of the people that you need to get?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the team you're supposed to be on right now to get you in position.
Right.
And now he like, nah, that might not. I can't do that right now because I still need these voters that Trump got.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I was to link up with Ice Cube right now and the voters that I already got with Trump, and I'm only just trying to get the black people, so I need the white people first.
Right.
Right. And that's still there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all of it is the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Call them out, Nsoromma.
I don't
on
got
that
no
BS.
problem with it.
On that BS.
True that.
That's word. You know, this is why you tune into the Open Eye on 95.3 FM. That's word.
Yup.
You know, I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
Right here. Silky. Give me a second here.
Silky.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Wait a minute. We got to make some money, y'all. Excuse me while we make some money. All right. All of that's supposed to be in one folder, man. Everything you plan, man. Put it in one folder and go right there. Okay. It was in one folder. It's hitting that, bro. We don't have to get it done. You can put it in one folder and have it as tracks 1, 2, 3, 4, and label. This is the commercial. This is this. This is this. And then when you go into the folder and come up like that, then you can just go bam. Because you wait a minute, y'all. Give me grief. Sucky. Yes, indeed. Thanks for tuning in, Natalie. And my favorite Facebook cousin there, Sherry Baby.
Accredited employment for homeless veterans, provide job training, counseling, and job placement services, including job readiness, literacy, and skills training, expedite retention veterans in Nsoromma. Contact the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets at WHGE.org or call our office at 691-7411. That's 302-691-7411. Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, changing veterans' lives all over Delaware.
All right, I'd like to thank DCHV, Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, for their stalwart support. All right. Now, getting back to it. Like I said, these things that have gone on in America, this damage that has been done, was done by Ronald Reagan. And it goes on. I got a whole list of stuff that Reagan affected. Okay? For instance, fewer and fewer employees provide health insurance or pay enough for workers to afford their own insurance, and now the GOP's Obamacare repeal may throw millions off their insurance plan. I remember when I was a teenager, and I had some medical problems, this, that, and the other. Was it? Yeah, I do too. What's this thing here? Oh no. Anyway, we just work with it. Like I said, when I was a teenager and I had to go to the doctor, I got a concussion or something, and what have you. And, my mom took me to the doctor, and her health insurance from her job paid for it. She didn't have to come out of her pocket. It was not a thing. And this is the way it used to be, and this is the way it should have been. But fewer and fewer employers will pay health insurance. What they do now is, by law, if you work 40 hours a week, you're a full-time employee, they have to pay for your health insurance. Very few jobs are full-time now. Most jobs are part-time. You might get 30 hours a week. If you get over 30 hours a week, you're full-time. Mm-hmm. So to keep from having to pay for that, they make sure to keep your hours down. Some corporations, if you do work over, they will steal your hours. No, you didn't work that. No, you didn't work that many hours. Nope. And we ain't paying you either. If you got a problem with it, you're fired because it's right to work, and you can go. And I mean, this is the nuts, the craziness that is going on.
Man, that's crazy.
Now we managed to vote a corrupt, treasonous, hateful, racist imbecile into the White House and have made America the fool around the world. And it started, he's the political descendant of the Republican saint, as they call him. I call him the Republican demon, Ronald Reagan.
Wow.
And that's what we're doing. Yeah.
That's really crazy.
That is, man. It is. I mean, it's absolutely nuts.
What's up with the sound?
I don't know where that's coming
Gotta
from.
find that.
I know, man. Live radio, y'all. Stuff happens.
Nah, but there's something touching.
Yeah. Something in here. Something with the board.
That's mic cord.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, our engineer, in-house engineer, Nsoromma on the case. Thank you, brother.
True.
That's word. What is it? This is October 24th, so it's coming up. Election day is coming up. And as hard as we are on Biden and Kamala, we have sense enough to recognize that the orange disaster is much more destructive. And you had mentioned Ice Cube. That's one of the things, and I earlier talked about Black Lives Matter. Now,
Right.
Ice Cube was interviewed by Roland Martin, who also had one of the founders of the Black Lives Matter organization on there.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this sister, is a lesbian, and this, that, and the other, the three founders are. Okay, who they love is none of your
I don't
business.
care about none of that.
None of that.
Ain't me personally, but
Right? Some people may feel some way about that. Okay. But one of the things that stuck in my mind about this joint interview was when this sister asked Ice Cube if he thought Black Lives Matter was a terrorist organization. You're going to ask a brother if he thinks Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization because he has some contact with people that think that way.
no, why she didn't actually do think the KKK is?
It's a terrorist
Right.
organization.
Yeah. I mean, our ideology and communicating and talking to each other is so messed up that it's we working against each other. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the worst kind of black person that you can deal with. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you got that right.
So, and in correspondence with her saying something dumb like that,
Dude,
I would have made it look like she was believing the stupid person that she was at that time.
at that
I
time,
wouldn't even
yes.
answer it.
No. Like you said, I would have asked her, like you said, why did you ask if the KKK is a terrorist organization?
Right.
And she said, because, she's one of the founders of Black Lives Matter, that she's getting death threats. Okay.
I mean, you do that anyway when you stand up for yourself.
That's right.
You ain't getting
You
it
stand
because
up for
Black
our
Lives
people.
Matter. You get it because you black.
That's right. You living under threat
Right.
anyway because you black.
Right.
And then you black and vocal about our condition
Of
too.
course you want to get this.
Yeah.
And it ain't always this can be kids threatening you. Some 17-year-old picking up the phone calling you, yeah, you hate you, whatever. I mean, when you mischief at them ages. So and when you grown up in that type of environment, of course, I mean the kid, this is generational passed down. So I mean you gotta understand the psychological in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The psychology.
Psychology. I'm like,
and we know where you're coming from, brother. You know where you're coming from. That's where that's why you tuned into Open Eye. Brother got it. He got it right though. You believe that he got it right. Now, one of the things when I was talking about Ronald Reagan was that I said that according to this writing that America had this before Reagan had its greatest share of prosperity in world history. And I have to tell you that I definitely disagree with that. I definitely disagree with that in world history. That's putting a big stretch and giving America a lot of credit because you've got to remember in the midst of prosperity in America,
right,
many of our people were still living in abject poverty. So, there was, during the 60s, there was the rise of the black middle class, and a lot of black people, came out of poverty and this, that, and the other. But still, too many of our people were living in abject poverty. And like I said, this is the effects of capitalism. And those that understand the effects of capitalism, FDR, in spite of the racist stuff that went on with redlining during his time, he understood that there must be something to offset the capitalism and the exploitation of a lower class of people. And when I say lower class, I don't mean, they're lower in morals or temperament or anything like that, but just in economically oppressed people. I don't get that mix. But what FDR did was he put things in place to offset it, which was social democracy. The thing was, there was too much race in there, which is expected from, a system of global white supremacy, for it to have the proper effect on our own people. And when I say, I dispute that, this was the greatest sharing of prosperity in history, we cannot say that without looking back at Egypt. And you ever wonder why the Egyptian empire lasted so long? How did some pharaohs rule so long? Ramsey sat on the throne for 60 years. I'm 60 years old. I'm 59.
Right.
Now he was on the throne a year longer than I was alive.
Right.
Patrice ruled for 94 years. I don't know how old he was when he went to the throne, but he was there for 94 years. That was all some people's life.
I think back then the scale of time was on a different scale. It wasn't the same kind of scale that these Americans use in this time. The time scale was like a different scale of time. Like these 24 hours, American 24 hours, and how I skip back to leap year and do all this stuff. This is their made up stuff. This ain't the 20 to 20. This, you understand? So it was a whole different time period then.
Well, let me tell you, bro. For one thing, our time period is based on their time period. A year was a year. You know, here was the thing.
Count it like a year. Like they would count every season as a year.
No, every season was a season, but they went by a solar year, which was much more accurate than what we have now. That's Egyptian fact. Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. They lived healthier. They didn't live with this emissions, with this poison water, with this poison food. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't have all the cancer causing things that's living in the air that we have created.
That we have created
right?
now.
I got you.
That's word. So there was longevity, that was,
the health.
The health
Longevity.
Yeah. Yeah, Now the Great Sphinx was at least 10,000 years old. So by that measure, the Egyptian empire lasted 10,000 years, and that's the point. America's 200 years old. Okay, 240 years old. Of that 240 years, America's been at war 230 years.
All of it with us.
Yeah. Ancient Kemet. Yeah, and for some people alive right now, America's been at war their whole life. Ancient Kemet went 3,000 years without a major war. That's called state management at its best. Now, the thing is, it was about balance. That's how the Egyptians were able to fund and maintain such a glorious, lasting empire, because they were balanced. If someone fell by the wayside, they weren't looked down on. The community came and lifted them up and put them back on their feet.
Right.
And they weren't looked at as if they were lacking in some humanity and what have you, because
it used to hurt to see your brother man down.
Exactly.
It used to hurt the next person. Now it's like a kick you when you down attitude,
right?
Or turn your back.
Or turn your
You
back.
know what I'm saying? So, and that's messy to me.
You remember Dave O'Connor?
Dave O'Connor. No, saying.
Remember the print shop where we met?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Dave, who was a decent dude for the most part, and what have you.
Right.
I'm calling him out. But Dave, I asked him, he was a Republican. And I asked him one time, why does it seem that Republicans hate poor people? He said, yeah, we do. I said, why? He said, because they're poor and they chose to be poor. Now, you think of all the things that people don't want to be, right up there near the top of the list, right after sick and dead is poor.
I mean, when you had the right to choose God or the devil, you can choose your own fate. So I say, I'm not mad at you for being poor.
Hell no.
I'm saying you can get out of that hole.
Right.
I'm saying if you apply yourself and you read books, some people can't read. Learn, get the person to know how to read to teach you. I mean, the willpower of getting what you want has to exist there. If it don't, you'll always be poor. And not only financial, but and thought. It starts in thought. You only rich through thought. And then application comes. You know what I'm saying? So when they deaden our dreams, because that's what they do. They deaden our dreams, and then they say, "Oh, you poor because you want to be poor." I'm poor because I ain't got no way to get my dreams to paper or get my information that I got out. Because we need libraries, we need stuff like that that's supposed to be on our community, like in your community. that they don't have. They taking all the public stuff out there help us, man.
That's right.
Libraries.
And like I said, don't forget this.
Man, that's crazy. Man.
Poverty is orchestrated.
Right.
Okay, the poverty that our people live in is orchestrated.
We're not poor because we want to be.
Because we want to be. That's where
we don't have the necessity to not be poor.
To not be poor. When you deal with bad health, bad diet, miseducation, okay, low employment, and what have you, and then you ain't got no boots to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and they look at you and they say, "See, are you kidding me?"
But yet you sitting on $300 billion, and this one community only need 3 million to get hooked up, and you don't help them. You'll get a tax write-off for that. So why wouldn't people do that?
Right.
I don't understand that, and that's what I mean by turning your back on them. I'm not talking about just a regular person in the world. I'm talking about these big organizations that Trump is talking for. That's who he's talking for.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The evil of capitalism and global white supremacy. This is the Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
As I always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays.
That's right.
Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority who treat you as an option. This is the Open Eye.
WHGE 95.3. Yaga! Yo, what's good? It was a good show. I'm glad y'all tuned in. Don't let your president get your, you know what I'm saying? I put that up there so you can read that. Because I mean that. I mean that right there. Y'all stupid. But it's cool. Yo, Tommy Guns. Gra, gra, gra. Me say, good looking. DJ Ronnie G. What's happening, homie?